Okay, I want to introduce Rachel Wright, who's the parent of the Highland Park Safety Task Force. And we're here today for the ribbon cutting of this new crosswalk, and also because it's International Walk to School Day. So, Rachel.
Woo! Thank you, Mayor McGinn, and thank you everyone.
Turn it up. Is there a way to turn it up?
I don't think
And this is my very, very first time I've ever spoken to such a large.
Are you guys getting it?
It's pretty neat.
We can't hear. We can't hear.
Thank you. So in 2002, I moved to this neighborhood, and my daughter was born a year later. And one of the first things I thought is one day she would cross Holden, and it terrified me. And when my daughter entered kindergarten, I met Jen Cole, who somehow amazingly touches all these people's lives all around Seattle. And she planted the seed that it was possible to have a safer crossing across this street and many of the streets in my neighborhood. In 2011, Safe Kids granted Highland Park Elementary a grant, and through that grant, we had a group of safety experts and community members walk these streets. What struck me the most is none of them wanted to cross Holden. And so today you see a crosswalk brought here through Safe Kids and through Brian Dougherty, who managed to figure out the engineering behind creating this crosswalk. And we really owe you a deep thanks, because this was not easy. As each of you can see, this is a very busy road. It has S-turns. It is difficult engineering. And Brian persisted over many months and finally came up with a plan. And this is the first pedestrian improvement across Holden between 9th and 16th. It addresses how people really walk across the neighborhood. It makes a safer route for kids, and it makes a safer route for every person in this community. Thank you to each person who was involved in this, and it is my pleasure to introduce Brian.
Thanks, Rachel. Again, I'm Brian Dougherty. I'm the Safe Routes to School Coordinator for the Seattle Department of Transportation. At SDOT, safety is our #1 priority. In 2011, we had 10 traffic fatalities in Seattle on our streets, and our goal is to reduce that to 0 traffic fatalities. It's a realistic goal, but there's no silver bullet in terms of making that happen. So safety requires a heroic team effort, and I'm pleased to be here with the team that made this happen, including Rachel Wright, the Safe Kids Seattle Coalition, Jen Cole from Feet First, and the neighborhood, specifically the Highland Park Action Committee, which has persisted for years in asking for an improved crossing at this location. The Safe Routes to School campaign is multifaceted, and it includes engineering improvements as well as enforcement, encouragement to get more kids walking to school, education to make sure that kids have the right skills to cross the street safely, and evaluation to make sure what we're doing is making a difference. Engineering improvements at this school included this new marked crosswalk, some speed cushions to make sure that people are driving slow around the school, 4 new sets of speed cushions, 16 new curb ramps to make the sidewalk accessible so that everyone can use the sidewalk. Our streets are our largest public spaces, and we have the right to feel safe when we're using them. So finally, I'm going to give a plug to Seattle's new campaign to reduce collisions and promote safety on our streets. It's the Be Super Safe campaign, and you can go to seattle.gov/Be Super Safe to learn more about how you can promote safety in your neighborhood. Thank you.
That was good. Brian's got his talking points down. Well done. And we are really excited about the Be Super Safe campaign, because we can prevent accidents. And for those traffic fatalities and pedestrian fatalities a year, it's about 20 overall. About 10 of those are pedestrian, but the others are people in cars. And for each one of those, there's probably another 20 serious injuries for each fatality. And we can reduce it with better engineering, and that's what we're seeing here with these crosswalks. But it also takes the whole community coming together to make safety a priority, a heroic team effort. So I'm really glad to be here for International Walk to School Day and Safe Routes to School. Few programs have as many benefits of this. We've already heard a parent just talking about the safety of their kid in terms of getting to school, and that matters to me too. I have 3 children that are in Seattle public schools, and they head off to catch the bus, and my youngest has now started biking to school, and I want him to be safe. I want him to get home at the end of every day. But that's unusual today. In 1969, 48% of children aged 5 to 14 biked or walked to school. 48% in 1969. I was 10 years old. I was walking to elementary school. It was about 8/10 of a mile, uphill both ways. You know how old people talk about this. But now, today, 14% of our kids walk or bike to school. Now that's a national number. It's not a Seattle number. But even so, it shows how we're not getting activity into the daily lives of our children, which has real effects later in terms of their personal health. So integrating activity into children's daily lives, we also need to integrate it into adults' daily lives, which has some really profound health benefits for the community as well. So we talked about Super Safe, our new road safety campaign, and I also want to talk a little bit about our new, my budget this year that I sent down to council proposes more money for safe routes to schools, and that includes also neighborhood greenways, which are residential streets, which will be nicer for walking and bicycling and nicer for the entire community. And this example here is a great example of one of the challenges with the neighborhood greenways. So we can use residential streets as primary corridors for walking and biking, but the big challenge is when you reach the busy arterial, how do you get across it? So that's the challenge of the neighborhood greenways movement. It all takes money. We have a new curb bulb here. We changed the curb line so to make it a little safer for walkers, make the person waiting more visible to the automobiles. And we hope that we can keep putting these types of funds into these improvements. And I hope you understand in the city we're working as hard as we can to put money into taking care of our roads, looking at expanding transit, but improving the walkability of neighborhoods so people can choose to walk more or bike more for their local trips. Is a big part of the equation to improving our quality of life and helping make Seattle the great place that we all make it better. We love Seattle. We love it because we have walkable neighborhoods. We love it because we have local businesses. We love it because we want to be able to go to our school and library nearby and meet our community members. And these types of small improvements are needed all over the city. So I hope you can support us next time we ask for a little help with funding.